Greetings and a warm welcome. How are we all feeling at the moment? Today's topic is about becoming trapped in the psyche. And a lot of us do this. It's a defense mechanism. We do this when we don't feel safe. We do this when we have had trauma. And what we don't realize is what you ignore in the dark will fester in the psyche. What you bring into the light, what you acknowledge, will not hurt you anymore. But we become so enveloped in our thoughts, so enveloped in our experiences, our memories, our perspectives, that we become reclusives. And we don't want to step out of this huge concrete building that we have created in our minds to keep ourselves safe. It's so unhealthy and it's so dangerous, because if you get trapped in your psyche, your mental health will decline. You'll start struggling with mental health issues and you might end up with a massive mental health disaster, because becoming trapped in the mind is not healthy. You are reinforcing more overthinking, more worry, more stress, more anxiety. You are manifesting more depression, because you cannot step out of yourself and experience life, because it's our experiences that we make meaning from. And if you are not making meaning in your life, then you are losing value. You are losing out in life when you throw the key away and you stand behind those walls and you say, this is the only way I feel safe. And yes, you may feel safe for the short term, but at the end of the day, it's going to hurt you in the future. And being trapped in the psyche has a lot to do with self-isolation. When we don't want to communicate, when we don't want to see people, when we become reclusive and we stay in our own houses, we don't talk to anyone. But the quality of your relationships is going to determine the quality of your life. If you are not communicating, making connections, building bonds, then you are going to become depressed. Your mental health is going to deteriorate, because we are not meant to walk our journeys alone, not entirely for that matter. Self-isolation can become so dangerous, because all you have to keep you company is your own destructive thoughts and your trauma. And if you sit in that for too long, you're going to deteriorate, you're going to decline, you're going to become stuck, and you're going to become depressed. Another problem with entrapping yourself in your psyche is these rigid boundaries that we create. We create such strong boundaries that we don't want anyone to see us in an emotional way. We don't want to become vulnerable. And it's our rigid boundaries that stop us from living, that stop us from experiencing, and that also stop us from forming strong connections and strong, meaningful, valuable relationships. It's our rigid boundaries that stop us from experiencing. It's our rigid boundaries that create a barrier between us and other people. And becoming trapped in the psyche is unhealthy for multiple reasons. But the one reason is destructive thinking. The more you self-isolate, the more you keep yourself trapped in your mind, the more you'll have destructive thinking patterns. I'm bad, I'm stupid, I'm useless, I'm unable. And you reinforce that because that's all you have to keep you company. And it also has to do with having a destructive perspective. Because if you're not experiencing life, you are only seeing through the lens which you create for yourself. You're not experiencing different perspectives perspectives or change maybe your mindset of how you view life. And it's this destructive perspective that reinforces this destructive thinking. And that makes you retract more. And then it just becomes a dangerous cycle. But we entrap ourselves in our psyche in order to feel safe. When we have been rejected and abandoned and abused in our past, when we are dealing with a lot of trauma, we don't feel safe around other people. We don't trust other people. We can't be vulnerable around other people. We are afraid of judgment, further hurt, embarrassment, shame, all of these things, because we are afraid of the outcomes of what it would be like if we would express ourselves. We are afraid that we are going to experience the same rejection, the same hurt, the same trauma in the past, and that's why we avoid it. That's why we avoid people. That's why we retract into ourselves as well. But it's also a form of self-sabotage, keeping yourself trapped, because you are creating severe mental blocks. You are creating a smaller space for your mind to expand, for your mind to grow. And at the end of the day, you are hurting yourself, and you are hurting the inner child, and you are hurting the inner relationship, because all you can focus on is the bad things about yourself. And that's what self-sabotage is, getting in your own way because you believe that you can't, or you believe that you're not good enough. And becoming trapped in your psyche also causes social and relationship issues, as I said, because you don't want to become vulnerable. You don't want to express things. You don't want to work on your baggage. And that in turn affects your relationships. It affects your bonds, and it affects your connections. And these social and relationship issues is what's going to cause social anxiety. It's going to make you want to retract even deeper into your shell, and then it can be difficult to break out of that. And we need to focus on healing the inner child, because you have been through so much trauma in your life. You don't heal the inner child, your psyche is going to deteriorate. You need to heal your relationship with yourself. Change the way that you relate to yourself, and the way you view yourself, value yourself, and how you determine your worth, because that is what's going to decide if you are willing to take the risk, to take the opportunity to live life. And the thing is, when you self-isolate and when you entrap yourself in your own mind, you'll never experience the true moment of the present. Because when you are stuck up here, it's all about what happened, my trauma, or I'm afraid of what's going to happen. You don't experience the moment, because the moment is the only time in which we exist. And I understand you don't want to exist, so you stay away from the experience. But you're missing out, because you'll only have this moment, and then it's a memory, then it's gone. So really envelop yourself in the human experience. It's so important for your own mental health. Step out of it, go outside, experience life, because life is not meant to be lived inside your mind. It's meant to be lived walking next to it. And being stuck in your own mind causes a lot of cognitive issues. The way you think, perceive, understand, make meaning, all of that is affected when you no longer push your experience beyond what's going on inside of your mind. Remember, we create our own problems. A problem is not a problem until we make it a problem. But if you are creating these problems, about yourself, about your life, about things that have happened, that are going to happen. You might find it difficult to deal with life's challenges, because if you cannot truly be present in the moment, you cannot access your wise mind in order for you to formulate a constructive response. Therefore, we become very emotional, make bad decisions, make emotional decisions, do things we regret. So remember, the problems that you create when you are trapped in your mind can be difficult to deal with. And it can make dealing with life's challenges even more difficult. Step outside of your mind. Experience life for what it is. And yes, it's not always great, but it's an experience. Notice the small things, that you can listen to your favorite song, or you can watch your favorite movie. It's about the experience that makes up the human existence. So remember, you are unique and valuable. Take care of that stunning person. Stay strong wherever you're from. You are worthy.